neither party's really a party. They're collections of tribes, right? And so the Republican Party was a collection of a bunch of tribes, and then, parties as they grow tend to be more about being exclusive than inclusive. And so, you look at like the Republican Party platform, it's a document meant to like piss people off basically more, because it's done by activists.
Yeah.
So you have a disproportionality between what issues people are vocal on and what the people, the voters, really care about. And what Trump's been able to do is, I say he's basically did a full hostile takeover of the Republican Party. And I don't think it's even as much about the issues. I think it's about the attitude.
One of the most notable fail sons in all of America, Jared Kushner, was apparently also talking with Bob Woodward. It went really well for Donald Trump. Let's take a look at some of what Jared Kushner, exactly. But Jared Kushner all along, this is not new. These are conversations he was having with, journalist Bob Woodward for some time. So we're going to work through a little bit of what he said, but let's set the stage. In a taped interview way back on April 18th, Kushner told Bob Woodward that Trump was, quote, getting the country back from the doctors in what he called a, quote, negotiated settlement. Kushner also proclaimed that the US was moving swiftly through the panic phase and pain phase of the pandemic, and that the country was at the beginning of the comeback phase. That was on April 18th. Now, many, many Americans had died at that point, but far more hadn't yet died and would. And here you have this guy who's never earned anything in his life, whether wealth, nor position, nor prestige, nor media coverage, anything like that, telling us, no, we already got past that. We had the pain already. We're gonna be just fine.
We've now put out rules to get back to work. Trump's now back in charge. It's not the doctors. They've we have like a negotiated settlement.
So that's crazy and heartless, but yeah, Trump did kind of take back control from the doctors, and the ever rising case and hospitalization and death count, I think tells us all we need to know about how that worked as a strategy. So if you are a person who's just been handed real estate projects and wants to pretend that you're smarter than you are, you would throw terms like negotiated settlement into areas where they don't apply at all. And that's what he's done. And I really think that's the whole thing. I think he's kind of a dumb person.
So with testing now, what he's been saying is don't fall into the same trap that we fell into the first time. The states have to own the testing. The federal government should not own the testing. And the federal government should not own kind of the rules. It's got to be up to the governors, because that's the way the federal system works. But the president also is very smart politically with the way he did that fight with the governors to basically say, no, I own the opening. Because again, the opening is going to be very popular. People want this country open. But if it opens in the wrong way, the question will be, did the governors follow the guidelines we set out or not?
Yeah, except that that's not what actually ended up happening. If the reopening doesn't go well, no, they wanted us to just blame the governors or whatever. Jared Kushner couldn't predict that if people were dying and Trump was saying, no, we need to reopen anyway, that some of the blame might fall to him. And we're seeing that the effect on the election every day. That genius strategy that they had was stupid. And I would argue it doesn't take hindsight to realize that telling people they need to pretend that everything's back to normal when the cases and deaths keep going up, as we knew they would if we reopened prematurely, it doesn't take a genius to know that that's a dumb strategy. And indeed, we didn't have a genius, unfortunately, involved in this strategy. We had people like Jared Kushner and Mike Pence and that sort of thing. All of this is not just about your stupid intra-party politics. Like we're talking about hundreds of thousands of lives.